It's a war zone. South Africa to deploy 25,000 troops as country on brink of civil war. Ladies and gentlemen, you can now see the narrative arc. Periods in place and time, all leading to the sanguinary, the bloody pages at the end of the anti-white narrative for Western kind. If we don't get out of their story, are you going to keep marching around like imbeciles? Are you going to keep going about things the dumbass way? They had plenty of dumbasses in South Africa trying these tried and failed endeavors. And look at where they are now. Episodes in time and place and time. Some a little ahead, some a little behind. The same anti-white theme and sentiment running through. The same gelded and toothless white race that only stands up for itself when it does, tiptoeing around what the anti-whites have to say. And then, when not that, playing the villain, the bitch, the dupe, the chump in their narrative. When will it be enough? Where on that clock in time and space do you find yourself? And do you not feel for those who are now in these parts of South Africa ahead of you in time because of place? This is the whole planet Earth, ladies and gentlemen. It is the recapture of our destiny on a global scale, or it is nothing. You think the antiquated nationalism is going to do anything for you? You raise one country without the others, and the rest will burn it to the ground. You need a white man to stand up on every continent. A new race of our people. A new people of our race. A new determination. A new language that welds us together. You don't like it? Too damn much. Too damn well. Get over it. The alleged video shows a convoy of army vehicles moving toward Durban, a coastal city in the eastern part of South Africa. The city is located in the KwaZulu-Natal province, one of the hardest hit regions by week-long social unrest. So far, thousands of South African Army Reserve members have been called up to report for duty Thursday morning. I got to stop myself again. These are our brothers and sisters. I'm going to make this point. These are not white people in South Africa. Don't ever say that again. You want to have the moral high ground in every conversation you have? You talk about what's happening to our people in South Africa, not white people in South Africa. Not that's our future at some point. That's us now. You demand change now. That is our people now. And how close are we to that hour on the clock? How close are you where you live in space relative to time? How close are you to that hour when the government sends, the rabidly anti-white government calls of the reserves to come and quell the mass murdering and raping and destruction of society, the destruction of the infrastructure? For God's sake, for what? You know damn well and good they're not going to come there to protect you and your family. And you know damn well and good that you're not going to have some little militia or big militia that is going to be able to resist the militaries, even that South African military. You watch. If the white people, if our brothers and sisters, I almost did it myself, if our brothers and sisters in South Africa attempt to resist and fight the army in South Africa, they will be murdered to a man. Every one of them. There's been a push by the government to deploy up to 25,000 active duty troops to quell the unrest. In the coming hours, if not days, the military presence in KwaZulu-Natal should dramatically increase to thwart further spreading of looting and violence. quoting here a number of so many dead. Of course, that number is going to be far below. CNN will give you the proper number. Pardon me, but it's going to be far more than is what's being reported. Because what's happening, we'll get to that MP in just a moment about South Africa. The Daily Maverick warns parts of South Africa are on the brink of severe fuel and food shortages, with key supply routes severed due to social unrest. Let me ask you, for all the cravens out there, all the isolationists, you think you could survive that? You think when they cut off all the electric, the fuel, the food, the water, you think you're going to survive? You think when the swarming mobs come looking for food and sex and weapons, etc., at your property, and they have weapons, you think you're going to be able to resist that? You think you're going to be able to hide long enough? Get your head out of the sand that is on your backside. Since the riots began last week, following former President Jacob Zuma's imprisonment for contempt of court, and forget about this contempt of court nonsense. Don't even discuss that. All of these things you bring up just to use the lexicon, that's what you're peppering in. These things are the tools, these things are the matrix, they're the containers to use the lexicon. You drop it and you roll. That's how you make a change in the world. Zuma obviously was white erasing South Africa too quickly, and greater powers became panicked about that. And maybe this is the case, maybe it's not. And then they decided, well, we got to put an end to that, because if it goes forward at the pace it's moving forward, well, Western kind are going to observe this from abroad. And then maybe like in some other part of the world, when anti-whites in Russia that became Soviet Russia, they got a little bit carried away with all of their murdering. And then that caused countries nearby to say, whoa, we don't want any of that. They might be worried about that happening again. So just easy, get rid of Zuma, say it's corruption and contempt of court, and throw him in jail. We'll have us a new president. And this white erasure can continue at a pace slow enough that the heat on the pail that the frog is in, that white frog, is going to be just right. So he ends up cooking without ever knowing it. That's what sounds to me like is potentially the case. But of course, I defer to the geniuses at CNN.